Okay, I'm going to share a Chudail story. My grandfather, he had an experience with a Chudail when he was in his early 20s. He told me this story last time I was in India. So, if you don't know what a Chudail is, it's basically same thing as La Llorona. You know, it's a spirit. It's a woman's spirit, but there's also it borders the line of almost physical manifestation because they can hurt you physically. Like the La Llorona, although it's a spirit, she'll grab your ass and drown you. Right? That's her whole thing. So with the Chudail, what it is it's similar to that, but there's a couple of different things. First, it targets men, young men. And it looks basically like, all of those Japanese horror story type of things, black hair, white clothes, white shirt, that type of deal, very attractive. So it targets men because they're horn dogs. They want to get a little bit of action, so it's easy for the Chudail to target this. Maybe lesbos too. But the one distinct factor about this Chudail that is easily, if you walk around, you're like, okay, that's a Chudail. That's not a hot girl. That's a Chudail. Is its feet are backwards, so its toes are pointing the other way. I don't know why. That's just the way it is. So here's the story. So back in India, this is in like the 30s, before the British came in and really started industrializing India. There was one of the ways to get to the actual main city was to go around this forest. So although my grandfather lived in a village, the way that he made his living is he would sell the produce that he was able to farm. And he would take his bicycle and a large basket that would have all of these vegetables and fruits, and he would go to the city and sell them, and that's the living that he had. But the thing is, to get to the city, you had to go around the forest. And you typically didn't want to cut through. To go around the forest, it would take about 3 hours. But if you cut through the forest, it only takes an hour. And the reason that the locals would avoid going through the forest is not because of Chudail or any of the ghosts. It's because there's tigers, there's sun bears, there's cobras. There's all these other things that could really not make it worth your while to go there. And if you get hurt or stranded there, good luck. You're gonna need a miracle for somebody to find you in time. So the story is, like, one day my grandfather's coming back. He went and sold whatever he had to do, and he was in the city a little longer than usual. I think it was probably because he needed to sell all the things he had or whatever it is. But in order to make it back on time, he didn't want to have to be away for too long. He decided, today I'm going to cut through the forest. I'm just going to cut through the forest, no problem. It'll only take me an hour, and then I can be back home, whatever. So he has a lantern. He's walking down, and he says about halfway through, he notices to his right, maybe about 20 meters away, this random girl in the middle of the night, walking in the forest. His first thought isn't a Chudail. His first thought is like, what is this girl doing all alone in the middle of the night in the forest? So he started shouting out for her. He was just like, hey, are you okay? Are you lost? Do you need any help? He started walking towards her because my grandfather, he was concerned. And then as he got closer and closer, maybe about 10 feet away, his lantern made it much more bright. It's much more clear. And that's when he noticed her feet, and her feet was pointing the other way. She stopped walking when my grandfather was approaching her, and as soon as he noticed the feet, my grandfather took off. Now, he's not riding his bicycle with the force. He's pushing this thing slowly, right? So he drops his bicycle and he takes off, running really fast. And he says he could hear this Chudail running behind him. And although he had a head start, even though he's 10 feet away and he had a head start, he can hear this thing catching up slowly. and you could just hear the feet coming closer and closer and closer. And the thing about the Chudail is it's not one of those things you don't want to get you, because it'll give you misfortune, but more than anything, what they believe is it will try to take your life. And he got lucky. He's halfway through. He's not going to outrun this thing. In the middle of the forest, he finds a small little temple. Sometimes they have these temples all over the place in India. It's like the size of a studio, small apartment, not that big. And he runs towards it. And usually what they do is that they have a gate in the front and they lock it so that nothing gets in or someone's not in there. It was unlocked this time. He got lucky. He busted through, pushed the gate open, got in. And the thing is, Chudails are evil, so they can't enter holy places. So this Chudail, is walking around slowly, waiting for my grandfather to come out. And there's a tiny little window in the side of this temple, like basically the size of your head. And this thing would peek in sometimes and start, mumbling some things or whatever. He was terrified. He has no idea how, but he fell asleep. He somehow got knocked out right from the shock, because the next thing he remembers is him waking up to the sound of the birds and everything, and it's morning. He runs back, gets his bike, and gets back home. And he tells his wife what happened and everything, and then they go to a priest and get blessed and everything, and he avoids going through that forest. I asked him the second time when I visited, where the forest is. Now there's farmland and everything like that. Now he showed me where it was. It wasn't actually that far, and it's of course with the farm and everything like that, the Chudail's not really going to be around. But he swore it happens, and he says that he thinks that God was watching him, because finding a temple in the middle of nowhere in the forest like that is just not very likely.